What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going over my picks for UFC 320, Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira 2. Let's get right into it. For the first fight of the main card, we got Joe Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. Now, if I'm being honest, guys, I feel like this one is kind of the gimme for Joe Pyfer. Be like Joe Pyfer. Obviously, Dana likes this guy and he wants to get him back into the good graces of the fans. He hasn't really been a fan favorite, to say the least. I don't think he's that bad. He kind of grew on me a little bit. I like that he's kind of leaning into the body cam Pyfer thing. But yeah, I feel like Abus is just kind of going to get pieced up and finished here. Yeah, Abus has been kind of on a win streak and it's been pretty solid. But if you compare both of their careers in the UFC, it's pretty clear Joe Pyfer is the higher caliber fighter. And Joe Pyfer isn't that bad, honestly. He's a little one-dimensional, I feel like, but he's very solid. And his power and pressure is going to give Abus a lot of problems. We saw that similar pressure style striking give him issues with Sean Strickland. So I think Joe Pyfer is going to be able to get Abus out of there pretty easily. Abus will be able to give Joe Pyfer trouble, but overall, I think Pyfer's been locked in. Abus is probably going to get TKO'd. I got Joe Pyfer via TKO/KO, end of round 1, start of round 2. All right, for the next fight of the night, we got Yusuf Zalal versus Josh Emmett. I feel like this one is also kind of going to be quote-unquote one-sided. I think Yusuf Zalal is going to be able to get a clear, unanimous decision victory. Pretty much, I think this fight is going to be very similar to Lerone Murphy versus Josh Emmett. We know Yusuf Zalal likes to poke and prod and run away. Murphy is very good at that as well, and we saw him execute that against Emmett. It seems like that style gives Emmett a lot of issues, especially because we know Emmett really likes to telegraph that nasty overhand he has. So that being said, I think Yusuf knows that and is going to play into his strengths. He's going to sit there, poke Emmett, and just kind of dance around the octagon. Obviously, we can't rule out Josh Emmett completely. He's game, and we know the power that he has in his hands. He could put down anybody. But I don't think Zalal is even going to put himself in a position to be cracked like that. And I know he was talking all this and that. Oh, it's going to get me in the title shot conversation. Yusuf Zalal, you will never fight for the fucking title. They will give that shot to fucking Evlov way before they'll give it to you, bro. You will never fight for the title. I swear to God. You could go on a 10-fight victory. They won't give it to you. I'm sorry, bro. So yeah, unless old man Emmett made a lot of big changes in his game, he's going to be chasing Zalal all night. And unless he really corners him, he's probably going to be swinging for air the whole night. I got Yusuf Zalal via unanimous decision. Very boring. It's going to be a snooze fest. All right, for the third fight of the night, we are finally into kind of the meat of this main card. All the fights from now on are absolute bangers, but we got Jiri versus Khalil Rountree Jr. This one is a tough one for me to call. I feel like it could really go either way. I know people are saying it's going to come down to how smart Jiri fights, but actually, I think it's going to come down to how smart Khalil fights. Now, hear me out. We know Jiri can be a little susceptible to leg kicks, and we also know Jiri doesn't have the best head movement. Khalil is a technical striker. Yuri's a brawler, make it ugly. We all know this. I think if Khalil plays it smart, really keeps himself caged, similar to the Jamal Hill fight, pick and choose his shots, spam leg kicks. We know Jiri is very susceptible to those. He can possibly open Jiri up, and honestly, I think throughout the fight, he's going to land several nasty shots. That's simply because we know Yuri's style. He gets hit a lot. It is what it is. And that kind of brings a big question up. How good is Yuri's chin? I feel like it got cracked in that Pereira fight, and it just isn't the same as to what it was prior to that. I think Khalil is really the kind of guy to test that. He will catch Jiri clean at least once in this fight. Jiri isn't technical enough to avoid those shots all fight against a guy like Khalil. So we're going to find out really quick whether Jiri is still that guy. And if he can still eat all those shots and not get finished, I think Khalil is fucked. We all know at the end of the day, MMA really comes down to your genetics. I mean, that comes down to any sport, right? Your DNA, how much cardio you have, how much damage you can take. Jiri clearly can take a lot of fucking damage. And so can Khalil, don't get me wrong. But if we're talking about pure mental fortitude, it seems pretty clear for one reason or another. There's a lot of reasons that you could theorize as to why this is. But Jiri seems like the tougher fighter. You'll have to actually put Jiri down, whereas you can break Khalil down over the course of 5 rounds. Jiri is a very hard hitter, and people forget that. I know this isn't a full 5-rounder, but if he really picks his shots and is able to kind of wilt on Khalil later on in the fights and keep up a heavy pace, he can wear and break Khalil. We've seen it happen before. Khalil, I think he needs to either outpoint Jiri, which he probably will do throughout the fight. Khalil just needs to really maintain that pace, and he could get a decision victory, but in terms of finishing, unless Yuri's chin is cracked, I don't see him finishing Jiri, but you never know. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to crack Jiri in that fight. Overall, though, I think I am going to have to go with Khalil Rountree Jr. I think Jiri is the genetic freak here. He is more athletic, probably has more power, a better chin, but he just does not fight smart, and Khalil does. I think he's going to come in with a really smart game plan, target the legs, and just really punish Jiri for putting his hands down. And at a minimum, I see him taking the decision victory, but he might TKO Jiri. But I'm going to go with Khalil via split unanimous decision. We're on to the co-main event. We got Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. Obviously, I'm going to pick Merab here. It's really hard to pick against him, especially when you look at his fucking record and the streak he's on. But I'm going to say it right now. Corey Sandhagen, I think, is his toughest fight, and that includes Umar. We don't know how Umar is going to come in a rematch if that ever happens. But when it comes to the first-time fight, I think Corey Sandhagen is probably Merab's most dangerous fight. The reason I say that is because Sandhagen is very mixed in the martial arts. Dare I say, one of the best mixed martial artists in the 135 weight class, weirdly enough. He really mixes up his striking, his grappling defense, everything so well, I feel like. And on top of that, he's very creative and tricky. He throws unique shots and can adapt mid-fight. He'll notice whether you're leaning one way, and he'll throw a flying knee or a kick that way. Mid-round, he makes those adjustments very well in the middle of a fight. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Well, what does it have to do with the pace? You know, I don't know if Corey can go and hang with Merab for 5 rounds. Probably not. Most people can't. But Corey has IQ that other fighters really don't. I could see him just playing it smart. If he focuses on stopping takedowns only and just kind of pokes and prods a couple strikes around against Merab, that could be a victory right there. I could easily see the rounds kind of slipping away from Merab and Corey barely edging it out. Not really showing he's the better fighter, but showing he can play the game better. And he could really win over those judges. Obviously, I also have to mention Corey's fight against Umar. I think Corey did a great job in his grappling defense there. He did a great job. Just when he hit the ground, he did whatever he could to get back up, whether a roll, whatever he did. It gave Umar a lot of trouble. Yes, Umar ended up winning that fight, but I think that fight will be the biggest benefit Corey has going into this fight. We saw Umar and Merab kind of go at it blow for blow, tit for tat. Obviously, that'll give Corey some confidence because he was able to hang in there against Umar and not get submitted, not get finished, land some good strikes of his own. While I watched it live, I thought he won. On the look back, it's pretty clear he didn't, but it was a really good performance regardless. Basically, what I'm saying is Corey has shown that he's actually very good against this style of fighter, a heavy Caucasus region grappler. So I definitely can see him giving Merab a lot of issues, like I said, but I can't pick him because I just can't pick against Merab, man. I truly think he's probably the greatest 135er of all time at this point. The way he's laying waste to the division, the way he laid waste to the division before he even got to the belt, it's really hard to argue with. I'm gonna have to go with Merab via submission. You notice I didn't even really talk about him in this breakdown because we all know what he's gonna bring. Relentless pressure, and he's constantly evolving, which is terrifying. What if he does go out there and knocks out Sandhagen straight up? What if he goes out there the second Sandhagen hits the mat, he submits him if Sandhagen does give him issues and keeps popping back up? We don't know, and I feel like we haven't really seen Merab push to that level yet. Can't wait to see this fight. I got Merab via unanimous decision. I think Corey is smart enough to not get caught in anything or not get finished. If he does get caught in a choke, I think he's going to go to sleep. He's not going to tap out. But I got Merab via unanimous decision. I think it's going to be tough in the first couple rounds, but past the third, probably in the third, he's going to take over and make it look easy. We're on to the main event. We got Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2, with Ankalaev being the champ. Last fight, Ankalaev won, but not in the way people thought he would. He actually outstruck Pereira, and Pereira actually defended, I believe, all 12 takedowns of Ankalaev. I know he defended all of them, but I'm not sure on the number. I think it was 12. It's pretty clear if you go back and watch that last fight. One, it was a lot closer than people think. I don't know what the fuck Sal D'Amato saw, but it was not a 49-46, okay? That being said, Ankalaev clearly won that. I don't think Pereira won that at all, but it was a close fight. People are using the fact that Pereira seemed very slow, very sluggish in the first fight as like a reasoning to pick him. Like, oh, the fact that he was not fully confident in his skills. He wasn't the Pereira that we're used to, the guy that's marching forward, taking the ring, and getting the knockout. Because he wasn't that guy, that's the reason he lost. And that's actually true. I think if he did come out as a Pereira of old, he could have probably knocked out Ankalaev. There was a lot of opportunity for him there, but he didn't do it, right? So the logic is that he's going to come in the second fight a lot more confident, know what he did wrong. Now that he knows he can handle the wrestling, he's going to go out there and knock out Ankalaev. And you know what? That's kind of sound logic to a degree. Pereira does have intangibles no matter what skill set he's against. If he lands that good shot, you're going to go to sleep. It doesn't matter. Now, here's my issue with that. Pereira does look very sharp, very angry, very motivated for this fight, and that's probably going to give Ankalaev a lot of issues. But that coin has two sides to it. Ankalaev is also very confident now. Who's to say he didn't go ham on his grappling and his wrestling the way Pereira didn't go ham on his striking in that first fight? What if Ankalaev was so hyper-focused on the striking, he kind of let the grappling go? He gave up on takedowns and everything because he didn't want to get caught with an uppercut or a knee or things like that. Pretty much what I'm saying here is I think Ankalaev is also going to come in very confident and very strong. And if we go off of both of their last performances, Ankalaev will be a little bit better. Like if we just double, both of them will be twice as good as they were last time. Ankalaev will win. Weirdly enough, I feel like this fight is going to be more of a proper stylistic matchup between the two. Like I said, last fight was weird. They both were so hyper-focused on the other's specialty that they didn't really get to enforce their offense the way they normally do. This time around, I think both of them are going in there with the right amount of respect, but not fear of the other opponent's offense. And because of that, they're going to go in there to march forward and really inflict their offense on the other. Now, because of that, obviously we're going to get a train wreck. But basically what I'm saying here is I think Ankalaev is going to be grappling heavy this time around. And I think Pereira is going to be striking heavy. We're going to see what we thought we were going to see the first time. Overall, though, I am leaning on Ankalaev. I just feel like he has more ways to win. I feel like he could submit Pereira, and I feel like he could knock him out. Pereira does leave himself open at times, and he hasn't been shown to have the best chin, if we're being honest. He's a little bit older. I could easily see Pereira getting a little too hasty, trying to move him for a finish, and Ankalaev just hits him with a boom, nasty 1-2. Pereira goes down. Obviously, we know Pereira can win this. He could win any fight, but his path to victory is so clear and like one-sided. I just don't see him getting past Ankalaev. Yeah, he can spam the leg kicks, and hopefully he does. He didn't really do that last fight, but I think Ankalaev will kind of prepare for that. And like I said, I think he's going to be spamming takedowns. Pereira's game is going to get completely shut down, and unfortunately, this is the end of the CHAMA era. I'm going to have to go with Magomed Ankalaev via third round TKO. I was going to say submission, but honestly, I could see him ground and pounding Pereira. I want Pereira to win. I'm going to be real. I'm not a big fan of Ankalaev. I think he's a little boring in terms of his media presence. He's actually a pretty exciting fighter, in my opinion. But yeah, I just think Pereira's time is up. I would love to see him go to heavyweight, but I don't think there's really many guys he could beat at the highest level there. That is going to be it for today, guys. Comment down below, what do you think of my picks? Are they casual? Are they not? Let me know what you think, who's going to win and how. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. We go a long way here. We're a very small channel. I'm fumbling over my words. I just wanted to get this quick pick video out. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. I'm going to have my instant reaction out probably like fucking 2 in the morning on Sunday or something like that. It's going to be real quick. And then I'm going to have a proper breakdown Monday Follow me over at Twitter at SockOnDSLive for all of my picks, including prelim picks. All of that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.